Okay, you're live. Thank you. Good evening, everyone who's tuned in this evening. My name's Mrs. Lothian and I'm the Senko here at Northampton Academy, and I'm just going to move on to the presentation now, and hopefully I'll be able to answer some key questions that you may have. So I'll just move on to that now. Wonderful. So as I said, welcome to the Northampton Academy Year 6 Transition Town Hall meeting for our SEND provision. And as I said previously, my name is Mrs. Lothian. I'm the Director of SEN here at Northampton Academy, and I'm your new Senko for when you arrive in September. I thought it'd be a good idea to introduce you to our SEND team. So obviously there's myself as the school Senko. There's also Mr. Slight, who is our assistant Senko, and he also teaches PE, so you might see some of him during your PE lessons. We've got Mrs. Buckley, our inclusion manager, and no doubt she's going to be a really key member of staff for you. She's based up in study support, which I'll discuss a little bit more shortly, but no doubt you'll see lots of her when you do come to us. We've also got Mrs. Holt, who is our SEN administrator, and she supports the whole team with any administrative tasks, and she also plays a key part in some of our interventions that we lead as well. And we've got some wonderful LSAs as well. We're very blessed at Northampton Academy. We've got a great team of LSAs, and I've just put these onto the slide for you as well. They will deliver lots of interventions. You might see them at break times when they're on duty, for example, but you'll get to know them really well. You'll see them lots around the school. So moving on, obviously I've discussed who our team are and tried to give you some indication of, of what they look like and what their roles are. But I'm going to make the assumption that for a lot of you, you're coming up from primary school and you've perhaps had one class teacher, and then perhaps in addition to that, you've had maybe one LSA or a teaching assistant assigned to your class as well. Now, moving up to secondary school, it is slightly different, and as you will have seen on the previous slide, we don't have a great number of LSAs, so we do need to think about how best to utilise our team and offer the best support for the children. So there's myself as Senko, as I've said, and Mr. Slight, and we then look at the 4 different areas of need. So those are cognition and learning, social, emotional and mental health, sensory and physical, and communication and interaction. And within those 4 areas, myself and Mr. Slight oversee different ones, and we have different LSAs assigned to those areas as well. So you'll see that Mr. Slight oversees cognition and learning, and a number of the LSAs who are assigned to that area of need. So they will be the LSAs that will deliver intervention for that group. They will be the LSAs that work more closely with those students. And then any students who come under social, emotional and mental health, sensory and physical, communication and interaction, they will be under me, and the LSAs that they will see the most will be the ones who have been assigned to those areas. And actually, a great benefit of that is that we have LSAs who are experts within each field, which again means that we're able to offer really great support to those students. You will see that our inclusion manager, Miss Buckley, and our inclusion administrator, Mrs. Holt, they support and oversee the whole department really, but they do have a particular interest in the area that they've been assigned. So social, emotional and mental health for Mrs. Buckley, she often delivers some really great intervention within that area and works extremely closely with a lot of students who come under that strand. And then Mrs. Holtz, as I said previously, she plays a massive part in a lot of the intervention we deliver for communication and interaction. She goes out and attends lots of courses and brings in lots of really relevant and important knowledge into the department that we can then make sure we support the children as best we can. Okay, so I've mentioned interventions quite a few times so far, and actually the reason for that is because we need to make sure that our LSAs are, you know, delivering the highest amount of support that they can. How we do that is we don't have them within lessons. Their main focus is to provide targeted interventions, and they extract students. And again, it means that we can deliver a more bespoke provision for these children. So you'll see on the screen at the moment the 4 areas of need and an indication, of the interventions that we have offered this academic year within each strand. And these are all led by LSAs within the area. The interventions do change depending on the needs of the children. So obviously these were the interventions offered this academic year, but they may chop and change next year as we obviously get more children. So these things include lots of spelling, reading, handwriting intervention. We've had Lego therapy, some wonderful social skills intervention to help children, you know, interact well with their peers and adults, and obviously understand and be able to read certain social situations as well. So they've been really, really successful, and I look forward to those continuing as we move forward into the next academic year. Moving on to study support. So I mentioned earlier that I'd speak a little bit more about study support because it is really our key area for students with SEND. It's run by Mrs. Buckley, who, as I said, is our inclusion manager. She doesn't teach, so she's always based up in study support, and children might visit this area if they are going to an intervention. Perhaps that intervention is being delivered up in study support. It might be that a child is using their timeout card, for example. That as well might take place up in study support. And also it could be social times as well that children visit the area. So quite often, mainly year 7s actually, visit study support at break and lunchtime if they don't want to go outside, and perhaps they don't want to be out with the other year 7 children. That's absolutely fine. They can come up to study support, and obviously they can engage with other children, with Mrs. Buckley, with other members of the SEND team as well. And it's always a really, really nice environment in there. Which leads me quite nicely onto the extracurricular clubs. So you may or may not have seen that as a school, Northampton Academy offer a very wide range of extracurricular clubs, and as an SEN department we offer our own on top of that. So this is the club timetable for this academic year, so it's likely that this may change obviously for September, but just to give you an idea of the type of thing that was on offer, we have regular homework clubs for any children that would like to get their homework done at school and would like some support with that. Quite a lot of our children prefer to keep, you know, work at school and potentially not have to do it when they go home. So homework club is really helpful for a lot of our children. We also have Lego club, we've had art club before, games club, and that's at break and lunchtime. And as I say, most of the children in year 7 do really enjoy coming to those, and the atmosphere is wonderful in there. So there's something to look forward to. So just to elaborate a little bit more on support, particularly within the classroom, because that may be something that you feel might look different to what you've had at primary school. So I mentioned that in terms of our LSA and support staff, it's more about extraction and making that support a lot more bespoke. But it doesn't mean that, you know, there won't be any support within the classroom. And this is an idea of perhaps how that would look. So last year, we invested in a programme called Class Charts. And what this programme does is it enables all of our teaching staff to have a login. They log in and they can access all of the children in their classes. They can use that to create bespoke seating plans. So if a child has needs, which means that the child needs to sit at the front, maybe near a door, near a window, for example, they're able to do that on the programme. And in addition to that, they are also able to click on each child, and they are able to see the current pupil passport for the child, which obviously outlines the needs. It outlines what that child will find difficult, suitable strategies, how that child can be helped, any provisions and support that is in place or that child has had at Northampton Academy. And in addition to that, we can add in any additional documents or any additional information that we feel is going to greatly benefit the children. So what that means is the level of support is consistent across all of the teachers that teach the children. They're all getting the same messages, they're all delivering the same strategies and the same support. So it means that, as I say, it's consistent for all the children. So there'll still be a high level of support there for all of the children, but in an inclusive way. We don't extract the children and have, you know, separate groups or separate classrooms. We really do want all children, whether they have SEND needs or not, to fully engage in Northampton Academy and engage with, you know, with school life, all aspects of it. So moving on to September, which I know a lot of you will be kind of looking to know what that's going to look like in terms of support for your children. So the first half term, the focus is going to be purely on transition. It's going to be purely on helping the children to settle in, get to know their teachers, get to know the school, make some friends, etc. We don't bombard them with support and intervention straight away. It's important that they have enough time to really try and settle into obviously their new school. So what I'm saying is, in September, please don't be alarmed if that first half term your child hasn't been picked up for interventions and, you know, they haven't had that support that you were looking for. They will be picked up in term 2. So term 1 is all about transition. Okay, so we aspire, you know, really high for all of our students, that's students with SEND and those without. We aspire the same for them all. We're an inclusive school, and your child will get lots of support. It might look different to primary, but there will be lots of support available to your child, and we really do look forward to welcoming them in September. I do hope that those few moments really have answered some key questions about what support might look like for your child, what to expect. Obviously, we have looked at key spaces and key staff members, and I know that lots of you will have received our visual transition booklet as well to go through with your children, and that again outlines some key expectations and key things to just prepare them for September. What I'm going to do now is just ask Mr. Klein if there's been any questions for me to answer now at all.
Yeah, Ms. Nolan, there's just been one about a student worried about getting lost and not knowing where to go to class, but Mr. Windsor's answered that staff will always help and support as students move around the building. So it's perfectly normal worry to have, but it'll be fine. There are no other questions at the moment, so if anyone does have questions, can ask that you post them into the chat box for us. We'll give sort of 30 seconds or so if anyone does have any questions.
Yeah.
No, I mean, there doesn't seem to be anything coming through, Mrs. Lothian. So I suppose they could email you directly if they've got any concerns. Your email's on the website.
Yep. Any concerns or queries, please do email me directly. I'm happy to help and answer any further questions. But just rest assured that the support will be there, and obviously we're really looking forward to having the children start with us in September. So yeah, we look forward to seeing you in September.
Oh, sorry.
That's all right.
There's just some coming through just now.
Yeah.
My son has only just today had a dyslexia test. Worried that results won't be in before the term ends. Is one of them.
Okay, so with that, obviously, as soon as the results come through, forward them across. Obviously, I have been in contact with primary schools and the rest of our SLT team have as well, where we have collated and gathered lots of information from primaries, including SEN information and information such as if children have had any tests or had any referrals. So we should have information on that already, which means it gives us the heads up in terms of support for September.
And another one just about asking when they'll find out who their teacher will be when they start. We will be writing to all the students to make them aware of the form tutor when they begin, and they'll get all of their class teachers on their first day of starting. There's another question about where will the playground be. That's something that hopefully we'll be able to answer in the town hall on Thursday. We're still planning at this stage for a full return, so that's something that I can't give a definitive answer on at this moment. The parents just thanking you, Jamie Lee, for your answer on dyslexia. Okay.
Yeah, you're welcome.
And I think that's all the questions that have come through, unless there's any latecomers come through. So I think that's us just now, Mrs. Lothian.
Okay, wonderful. Well, thank you for anybody who has tuned in. And as I say, look forward to working with you in September.